November Livelihoods magazine has introduced how to supplement in video format. The first edition is how to form NGO. NGO is non-government organization that is registered by an individual or by group of people. The main aim of any NGO is to work for certain social causes and welfare of target population. The NGO are also referred to as civil society organizations. The basic functional rule and ethics of NGO. It should be non-profit, non-commercial, non-government, legally registered entity. It should subscribe to universal humanitarian values. It should have an established headquarters. The policy makers should represent the beneficiaries of the NGO. It should not be politically inclined. It should not use or advocate violence. There are two types of NGO, operational and advocacy. The main purpose of operational NGO is relief oriented or development related and community based, whereas advocacy NGO promotes specific cause. It makes efforts to raise awareness and knowledge by doing various activities like lobbying, press work and activist events through community. NGO can also be a combination of operational and advocacy. The process of forming NGO involves 9 steps. Create a vision, purpose or goal, establish a governing body, seek a legal expertise, draft articles of incorporation, draft bylaws, register NGO, maintain accounts, tax exemption and auditing. The first step is create a purpose, vision or goal. Determining the purpose of the organization is very essential. That purpose should be clear, concise and a written statement that also describes and reflects the mission, values and target community or beneficiaries of the organization. The long-term objectives and goals of the organization should be done through short-term planning, an annual plan, as well as long-term planning, a strategic plan. Second step, establishing a governing body. To register an NGO, an individual should form a governing body in place. They would be decision makers related to financial management, networking, legal expertise, human resource and strategic plan. Board members should not claim any salaries or monthly remunerations from NGO. However, they may take charges promoting the activities and even give salaries to the supporting staff. To ensure a transparent practice, all financial transactions should be routed through a joint bank account of the NGO and at least 2 office bearers. Seeking a legal expertise. Legal expert can help a NGO in the following activities. To register the NGO, filing articles of incorporation, filing reports, tax issues and securing licenses. A lawyer who specializes in this area will save time and reassure the process. If money is an issue, an NGO can seek legal services through a legal assistance program. To take opinion from the board members to check if they have any connections or contacts may also be useful. To have an attorney with such expertise on the board is another option. To select a name for NGO, the following process is to be done. NGO can be related with the issue addressed or according to the idea of the founder. The name should not be equal to government body or any ministry. Drafting articles of incorporation. The articles of incorporation should provide a legal description of the NGO assigning power to the board. Once drafted, they should be submitted to the board for final approval before registration. The information that should be included in the article varies between local state governments and also from country to country. Name of the NGO, purpose or mission, a statement that declared the NGO is non-profit, location of the NGO, number and names of the board members, extent of personal liability, whether or not the NGO has capital stock, how long the NGO is expected to exist, bylaws. Bylaws are the rules of operation for a non-profit organization's board of directors. These operational rules play a pivotal role in how board members make business decisions and set the direction for internal divisions and the entity as a whole. Bylaws should be formed in this model. Name of the organization, society or association, board of directors, officers, committees, meetings, voting, conflict of interest, fiscal policies and amendments should be included in the bylaw. Registration of NGO. The NGO can be registered in the form of 3 legal entities: society, trust and company. Under society, it can be registered under Societies Registration Act 1860, Section 20. In trust, it can be registered under Indian Trust Act 1882. It can be registered under Companies Act 2013. The differences between a society's trust and company is mentioned in the remarks section. Importance of registration. Registration of NGO under society trust company will have the following benefits. Registered NGO has a more value than unregistered NGO. Registration is mandatory whenever certificate courses are taken up and certificates to the beneficiaries are to be given. The registered NGO will have a name benefit, income tax benefit for the NGO as well as to the donors. Recognition or affiliation can be obtained from any university or organization. Eligibility of grants from central or state governments and other donors. Land can be availed from the government. ATG certificate benefit under Income Tax Act. Expenditure made on community is an investment. The NGO should have one permanent office location for registration. An affidavit of owner of the registered office is to be submitted for rent-free accommodation. Since the NGO is not for profit and service oriented, non-commercial organization, rent or any charges regarding office accommodation should not be incorporated in the expenditure. An individual or a group who wish to register an NGO can visit state respective district headquarters, collect bylaws and NGO application form from district registration office. Registration fee is nominal for NGO register under trust, society and company. Register under legal entity format. As discussed, there are three registration formats under legal entity format: society, trust and company. Name of NGO under society. The proposed name should not be used in the office or jurisdiction where the application is filed for registration. Under trust, there is no issue if the name is to be registered under trust. Under company, the proposed name equal or similar must not be there under the registrar of company. Registration. It will be registered as a society and by default as trust in Maharashtra and Gujarat. It will be registered as a trust under Trust Act, company under Companies Act. Main documents. In society, it is Memorandum of Association and Rules and Regulations. In trust, it is Trust Deed. And in company, it's Memorandum and Articles of Association. Under society, number of members required are minimum 7 and no upper limit. Under trust, it is minimum 2 trustees and no upper limit. And under company, minimum 3 and no upper limit. For stamp duty, no stamp paper required for Memorandum of Association and Regulations under society. For trust deed to be executed on a non-judicial stamp paper of prescribed value. For a company, no stamp paper required for Memorandum and Articles of Association. Board of Management. For society, governing body or council, managing or executive committee. For trust, it is trustees, and for company, board of directors or managing committee. Mode of succession on board of management. For society, usually election by the members of the general body. For trust, usually by appointment. For company, usually election by the members of the general body. For maintaining accounts, the following steps are to be followed. After applying for registration with the registrar office, the officials verify and give registration certificate within 10 to 15 days normally. Once registration certificate is received, from that onward, proper office maintenance of records has to be established. Governing body should recruit an accountant to maintain all the records of the NGO. Accounts maintenance. The NGO should open a joint bank account with more than 2 persons for transparent bank transactions. The sources of funds and how they are utilized should be recorded. There are two types of accounting records: cash-based accounting records and accrual-based accounting records. Tax exemption. Document requirements for 12A and ATG registration. The following documents are required for the NGO to register to get benefits under 12A and ATG sections of the Income Tax of Government of India. Registration can take normally 70 to 90 working days. 3 sets of signed and stamped trust deed, society bylaws photocopies, registration certificate of the NGO, PAN card photocopy of the NGO, covering letter on organization's letterhead, valid postal address with address proof such as electricity bill, house tax receipt with no objection certificate from the house owner, evidence of welfare activities take up along with the progress report since inception, books of accounts, income tax returns if any since inception. Benefits of 12A and ATG registration. The NGO can raise local funds from the public and donors. Registration certificate for the NGO. Donors can claim exemptions under ATG. The details of registration can be stated on covering letter of NGO's letterhead. Funds and grants can be availed. To exempt from GST, a charitable trust or NGO must satisfy the following two criteria. The entity must be registered under Section 12AA of the Income Tax Act. The services provided by the entity must be a charitable activity. Not all services provided by a trust registered under Section 12AA would be termed as a charitable activity. Only the following activities are termed as charitable activity and exempt from GST. Hence, if a charitable trust or NGO does not satisfy any of the two conditions, then GST would be applicable and entity must be registered under GST. Thank you for watching this edition. We would surely look forward for your suggestions and improve further how to supplement editions.